It's almost here.
That thing we look forward to every November? No, not that. Not that. Not that. It's COP. Not that kind. This kind.
Nearly 200 countries are meeting to negotiate the world's next steps in the fight against climate change.
A deal has been reached at the
climate change negotiations in Japan.
The annual Global Climate Change Summit.
My name is Greta Thunberg, and I want you to panic.
Here in Paris, we can show the world what is possible when we come together, united in common effort and by a common purpose.
Delegates from the nations of the earth get together and try and save us from a civilization-threatening hellscape of our own making. I, for one, am very excited. They're going to dig down because the clock is ticking. They're going to get the nitty-gritty details of shutting down oil subsidies and boosting renewable energy. Oh, hello, little baby. Hey, well, slow down. What's your language? Whoa, baby, little baby. I don't think that can be true. I don't think last year was the first time they mentioned that fossil fuels might be a problem.
For the very first time at a COP, fossil fuels have been on the table.
This comes after previous drafts had not included any reference to getting away from using fossil fuels.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm sure there's a good reason. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to talk to somebody who's actually been to a COP and hold on a second. Hello, Ali? Hi. So, okay, I have a kind of a bet with a friend. Is it true that was last year the first time the subject of fossil fuels came up at the largest annual global summit on climate change?
Yeah, so COP28 last year was the very first time fossil fuels, which are the root cause of climate change, were mentioned in the agreement.
Huh. And so why is this process moving so slowly? Do they not get the same news that we all get?
There's honestly been a lot of interference with the COP progress and with climate progress in general.
Who's interfering?
Polluters. Sometimes they get to be the chair of the conference. They get badges, they get access to everything. We give them the mic.
A record 2,500 lobbyists are registered to attend this year, nearly 4 times as many as last year.
And the fossil fuel industry has been a major blocker to climate action.
Shell, Total, and ExxonMobil outnumber the delegations of every country except Brazil and this year's host, the United Arab Emirates.
Their influence first is because they're there, and they get to present, and they get to be on panels, and they get to do media, but also because they can talk to decision makers, right? Every morning, they can run into the minister in the hall or invite them to dinner that evening. And so it's that kind of soft influence throughout the conference that can really build up.
They're also literally bankrolling these climate talks. They're paying for these talks to happen.
On top of course, all the things they're doing all year long, like greenwashing and trying to influence governments already back home.
Okay, what's the number one thing that we could do to influence the COP process?
To kick big polluters out. There's a big movement every year that we should be supporting.
This whole coalition, Kick Big Polluters Out, we're 450 organizations and networks around the world representing millions of people who are all united in demanding an end of fossil fuel lobbyists and big polluters to write the rules of climate action.
Canada's delegation had a bunch of fossil fuel interests.
And is there a way individual Canadians can have an impact?
Right before governments go to COP, they need to be hearing our messages over and over that we don't want fossil fuel interests to be part of our official delegation at a UN climate conference, around wanting more renewables, wanting a fair phase out of fossil fuels. We have to make sure that message is really in their head as they're hopping on that plane going to COP.
Okay, I need to make a to-do list. COP to-dos. Number 1. Join Kick Big Polluters Out and sign their open letter calling for an end to fossil fuel influence in climate negotiations. 2. Go to For My Canada to find your MP's email address. 3. Send your MP a message and CC the Prime Minister while you're at it.
This is a conference about saving the world, not just looking good, and we haven't done enough.